time and we're being recorded, and an afternoon or an evening wherever you are. Um, yeah, am I'm a refugee of corporate America. I worked for about 40 years in a variety of businesses, small, medium, large, public, private, et cetera, et cetera. I kind of left a job in 2017 because I wanted to do something that I wanted to do for my pre-retirement years, and I began an angel investor and a venture investor because I wanted to back some founders that were doing meaningful work, and also why let white men have all the fun, as we say in investing. So to make a long story short, I started a group called Oregon Sports Angels, which is obviously not exactly the thing here, but through that work over the last 8 years, I've led and learned a lot about angel investing, made a bunch of investments in sports and sports tech. And on a parallel path, I'd met a lot of women founders because I really want to help, maybe in a small way, put a small finger on the scale, because as we know, 97, 98% of the capital still goes to male-oriented, male founders, et cetera. And women still, have great ideas, and they need a lot of capital to build their businesses. So for the last 10 years, I've been investing in women who have brands and ideas that are super interesting to me personally. And so that's a long way of setting up. When I had a chance to meet Jill in 2017, as we jokingly say, I said, "How about we meet for coffee?" And Jill said, "How about we meet for coffee and a gin tasting?" And turns out my partner really loves gin, and she came along and really liked the product. And within a few minutes, we decided we were going to back Jill because she struck us as the kind of founder who is absolutely going to do this thing. And so I've known Jill for the roughly 8 years from the time this was a business plan on paper and a still was on the water. She told me a few things at that time that really helped me decide, one of which was she kind of had put her whole inheritance life savings into this company, which is not something every founder does. And so Jill put all of her chips in, and I said, "Okay, great, that's good." So anyway, I'll stop here. I have done a lot of investments. I've learned a lot. I've had some wins and some losses, and I have a lot at work right now. And so I'm on the call to not just provide context for this opportunity in Freeland at this time, but also to answer questions that especially first-time investors or new angels or people who are still learning. I spend a lot of time doing that kind of, missionary work and education. So I'm really happy to meet and talk to new investors anytime. How's that, boss?
Super, boss. Well, I can kick off and just tell a little bit about
tell your version of the story. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So Freeland began a couple gals drinking whiskey together. I'm originally from Texas. Not a lot of you probably know our story, but Freeland is named after Mima Freeland, who never touched a drop of booze in her life, but now has a distillery named after her. Mima, I really fell in love with food and agriculture in her garden. She just showed me that women could be anything they want. And even though she never drank, she now is making up for all her lost time and making more and more booze. So I went on to have a career in agriculture. I was in the Peace Corps in Guatemala for a couple of years, where I really fell in love with small scale agriculture. Came back, moved to the Northwest to farm. I was eventually running Zanger Farm. It's a nonprofit education farm in East Portland. And while I was there, I got to know my good friend, Corey Carmen. She owns Carmen Ranch in the Wallowas. And Corey and I became whiskey drinking buddies. And fateful whiskey drinking night, drinking some very delicious Kentucky bourbon, but talking about how we wish we knew more of the terroir, more of the ingredients in our spirits, who grew that grain, who grew the botanicals in our gin. And couple more whiskeys go by, and Corey's like, "I'll grow it if you make it." And that was when I got really excited about highlighting women in a spirits brand. This areas you don't see is how many female distillers do you know? How many female ranchers? And what if we could really tell these stories and highlight the growers, highlight the makers, and then also celebrate women in our community who are doing really groundbreaking work. So we turned it into reality, and here we are, 8, 9 years later. Well, the fateful whiskey drinking night actually was a few years before I was able to, find funding, find a space, find equipment, all those little details to actually get up and going. but we pulled it off. And, since that day of selling the first bottle of gin and holidays of 2017, we have grown from our little tasting room and distillery in the Northwest to 27 states of distribution. And we keep growing. So this is our next huge project that I'm giddy to open in about 2 weeks. And
yeah,
then Kate.
there just have been so many. You've done it the early days, Justice, but there have also, and it's nice to see Jessica Reed and Heather Hardy, also early investors and advisors. We not only watched Jill and the team get through those difficult years, specifically things like the pandemic, right, and also face some significant external events like tariffs and other things that have been very difficult for any business, small, medium, or large. And we've seen Jill navigate, and I say this as a person who, as I mentioned earlier, I have line of sight to a couple dozen founders by way of, investment. And not everyone navigates their ships through stormy waters the way that Jill has been able to do, and we believe will continue to do. So it's been unbelievable the way that the Freeland Spirits brand has grown through this kind of adversity. The industry is very challenged. As we all know, the economics are very difficult, but Jill has managed to build a brand that's got growing national presence, a growing product line. When I mentioned the gin early, it was like the bourbon was coming, and now there's a whole beautiful product line. In fact, I was at the airport the other day, and it's like Skittles candy. It's so cool to see the array of products in the line now. That is just so cool. So I would just also want to compliment Jill on her leadership and her ability to navigate unprecedented challenges and to be in this position, which is to raise some more capital to put the finishing touches on the tasting room and give us some capital to accelerate our growth in 2027. So it's been an awesome honor and privilege to be along for this ride. It has been very challenging, and yet here we are at a turning point. And I believe this represents a significant inflection point for the company. So I'm not sure if that answered things. Jill, I think you mentioned a few things, but you've also won a bunch of awards. You've got some metrics to share. I don't know if you want to give the people some more of that owner's perspective. Sure.
Yeah. So in the, after opening our main tasting room, there have been obviously been some great accomplishments over the last 8 years. Been voted the best distillery in Portland for 4 years in a row. We've had 15 million plus in lifetime revenue to date, compounded annual growth rate of 38%. And we just keep going. Like there's absolutely been tough times, but we have persevered. And, I think we have learned that there is, nothing's predictable, but we can face anything. Like I think, being among other fellow business owners, it's just like, we've learned so much, and we're just so proud to have gotten to where we are. And we know we can meet whatever hurdle comes at this point. So, we're really excited. So I'll show you around here a little bit.
Yeah, so
like.
I think that's the goal. Is the big turning point is the tasting room's about to open. Maybe you should switch gears and talk a little bit about that. It's more than just a $2 million tasting room. It's going to give the brand exposure to bazillions of travelers through the new airport. So why don't you do a tour and talk about this project?
Yeah. So this is, we see this as a hub. It's, it's way beyond just a tasting room and a retail shop. It's really like there are 22 million visitors coming through the Portland airport every year. And we really see this as like the hub that connects all of our growing distribution network. We can take this 26 states of distribution and grow it nationwide and even international. So we are, like I said, just about 2 weeks out here. I don't know how well people can see behind me, but this gorgeous murals all around. I am sitting at the bar right now. This is the bar top is going on Monday. This is all getting tiled behind me on Tuesday. So I'm just giddy. And then if you see behind me, these are the walls. These are going to come down, these temporary walls, and that's open. So TSA is right behind me. So we are the very first thing you'll see coming out of TSA. So all those frustrated people that are angry at TSA will be greeted with a lovely cocktail. So we're really excited. It's not just that people will come here and get to learn about Freeland and get to taste a cocktail and go with bottles. They'll also learn about our club program, which is we haven't even had it going for a year yet, but it's a quarterly subscription box. You get Freeland bottles along with some other cocktail makings that you can make at home. And we're having a lot of growth with that. And this is really where people will learn about that. They'll experience Freeland here at the airport, and then they will join the club and really become lifelong fans and members. So I couldn't be more excited for the future and to throw the doors open here. And a lot of you have been a supporter already, a fan already, a customer already, and excited to have you on this journey with me.
So can I just mention, I don't know if everyone, I'm not sure who all's on the call here, if everyone has been through the airport to see the current kiosk, but I, for one, was very excited to see that as the first place where the minis, the little gifting minis were available, and they were literally flying off the shelves. So I think the airport, besides the tasting room and distillery in Northwest Portland, which is kind of the flagship location, this is I'd say maybe could be a more productive retail environment, right? So it's literally just cocktails and merchandise. And I don't know if you want to talk about the economics of this store, because the kiosk has been performing really, really well. And the store is much larger, the tasting room, I should call it, larger, and allows for more experience. Like, how many people will it seat? What's your expectation for that business, et cetera?
Yeah, so we'll have seating for about 15, and then we'll have some standing bar tops too. It's really to make sure people can get flights of cocktails and move on as quick as they can if they're, travelers in a rush. But yeah, we really see this going from a $500,000 kiosk to 2 million. And that's just in the first year. We really see this getting to about a $4 or $5 million tasting room. So super excited. And that's bottle sales. It's tastings, it's cocktails, it's lots of merch. And this is just a part of who we are. This is what we're doing right now, but this is what I really see as this gateway for much bigger growth.
What hopefully folks on the call have questions or want to chime in on this, because I guess one of the other questions is, so this is definitely a game changer, but maybe talk about some of maybe the last 6 months, some of the things you've also done while you're building that new PDX location. You've been busy launching a particularly cool new product. You have plans for some other seasonal things. Maybe talk about what's ahead besides PDX.
Sure. Yeah. There's no lack of fun new stuff always. I think many of you know we just released our pink gin. This is the latest of the gin family. It's doing really well. We sold out of it pretty fast. Had to frantically rebottle some. That's current global issues. We've had some challenges with getting our glass, but we are restocked and ready to go. So this is a beautiful, I could go into the history of pink gin, but then we'd be here forever. I am a huge fan of pink gin. There isn't a lot of it in the US. It's more of a UK thing. So we're excited to really bring it to life and celebrate its history and make a Northwest version of it that's steeped in huckleberries and white tea and has really cool botanicals in it, like turmeric and marshmallow root. So it is a beautiful addition to the gin family. And I think, something else that we're really looking at is just the changing in drinking demographics. People are looking for lower ABV, lower alcohol levels, or non-alc. So for years now, we've been doing a seasonal liqueur line that started with our cherry blossom liqueur. We just launched the 4th year of that cherry blossom liqueur. It's a partnership with the Portland Japanese Garden. We collect the garden blossoms as they fall at night and make a beautiful liqueur out of them, and we sell out of it in no time. And so we've added more of those, like our chai spice liqueur, our Amaro. And so it's always a highlight of a particular Northwest ingredient or an organization or a business, like Smith Tea's chai tea with our chai spice liqueur. So those have been doing phenomenally well, while we're seeing a little bit of a global decline in the whiskey market. We're really a place where we can come out with new products pretty fast and respond really quickly to the market in a way that some of the bigger players can't. So we are in the works right now on de-alcoholizing our Amaro, and we'll release that here at the airport as our first NA spirit that we're really excited about. Another area that we're putting a lot of investment in right now is e-commerce. That has been a really difficult place for distilleries. While wine can ship out of state, no problem, directly from their wineries, we are not legally allowed to. So we've been able to kind of come up with a workaround that a lot of distilleries are using, but we have to get it to a retailer who then gets it to the customer. But we've really found a great way of doing that profitably. And we just in April doubled our e-commerce sales year over year. So it's super exciting. Our club program launched less than a year ago. And just in the last month, we have increased membership by 20%. So there's a lot of great things happening that this is just going to help elevate. So, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to ask the question, maybe the one or two others. The other is, so what is the raise? I know you've been on Wefunder for a few months and have raised a bunch of money, and you're looking to close the gap and close the raise. Maybe talk through that just for folks who aren't maybe along as we are for the ride.
Yeah. So a little bit about Wefunder. So this has been a super exciting opportunity for us. Wefunder is this awesome platform that allows any community member to invest in a company without having to be an accredited investor. So it's just so like, I was really excited about it because this is the first time all the fans and customers that have been supporting us since 2018 can join me as an owner, which is just so thrilling to me. And it's, we have raised, we're right at 600K to date. Actually, just got news today of another 50K that's coming from an investor. So you can do anything from, $250 up to, 50, 100K. That's an option. And it's just a chance for everyone that has been involved in Freeland to date in any kind of way to hop on board as an investor. And this is a convertible note. So it's it's debt essentially that converts to ownership after the 3-year term or after we do another round of fundraising or we sell the company. So that's essentially how it works. So we're trying to raise at least another 100K before we close it in about 6 weeks. So this is a chance for people to learn more, to either increase your investment or get on board.
Okay. And then I'll jump in. One last thought I had when we were sort of talking about the story. And it's, as I said, Heather and Jill are along as early investors. We kind of took the earlier investors have the highest risk because literally the company was all risk at that time. And over the years, it has become less risky as an investment. And so, as an angel investor, there's sort of the early high risk, and there's sort of later less risk. And now we're at the stage where growth capital has come to the company, and Jill's really looking for this incremental. It's not without risk. And I always say to angels, you've got to be prepared to lose your money. But our plan is to help Jill not just achieve profitability, and maybe you can mention a timeline around that, but to become a profitable and leading spirits brand in the next couple of years. And so it's an interesting time to be an investor. The aperture is much wider, as Jill said, so non-accredited investors can join in. And one last comment I'll make before I see if there are any questions that I can help with. It's super, you are like, why would you do this? Well, so one, I'm an investor. Two, I want to help women be successful in their business ventures. And three, it can be a lot of fun. And fun can be just described a lot of different ways, but owning a part of a fun brand is a fun thing. And so, if you want to own a piece of a fun thing, this is a chance. So it's not very eloquent, but what I can say is there's an element of fun and excitement of being an owner in a company that's as fresh and as exciting as Freeland. And I'm looking at Jill and Jessica and Heather. It's like, we have had some fun and it continues to be fun. And every time we go through the airport now, we're just going to be, as Jill said earlier, we're going to be giddy. We are going to be giddy with that new location, because we're just going to see it more often and more people are going to see it, and people are going to feel the celebratory energy that surrounds this brand. And that's largely why back 8 years ago, why we invested.
Yeah, so I think I would just echo what you said, Kate, and add that I mean, I think I continue to invest in each round in Freeland because I think that Jill has navigated all the challenges, and every time finds really creative ways to get through them. And I think shows that she's not afraid to make hard decisions quickly, which I think is a hard thing as a leader to do. And I see over and over again that she's able to do that decisively. And I think this decision to really push, which has been a multi-year effort to get into the Portland airport, is a really big one for getting that kind of national visibility. But I'm also just continue to be proud of both who we are as a disruptive force in an industry that is completely male dominated. And that's really fun. It's one of those things that gets me jazzed. And then also to have a product that I think is really high quality. And I'm way into health, I'm not into massive drinking. I really love drinking Freeland because I just feel like it's as high quality as you're going to get. And if you're going to have something that is kind of a treat and a little bit naughty, then might as well really make sure you're going to enjoy it and get the most out of it. So I still feel great about it and love the product. So
You may just have come up with a new tagline for us, Heather.
A little bit naughty.
I was a lot naughty over the pandemic, Jill. You know that.
Yeah.
Yes, I miss your naughtiness.
And
I think we're going tonight, though, just so you know. I'm going to come get some pink gin.
I'll just reaffirm what all the other early investors have said. It's just been a really fun ride. And watching Jill has been great. And she takes constructive advice, and then sometimes, but she always does her own thing, and somehow just always picks the right path. Also,
not
as
always.
somebody well, it feels like it. I mean, compared to everybody else.
You just have to recognize the mistakes really fast and detour.
Yeah. But also, as somebody who's moved away, and when I come back to Portland, I've just realized how proud I am. So when I was in Portland, I was an investor. It was kind of a natural to, invest in a local company. But being in Colorado and realizing that the values are strong enough that I could explain why this is such a great company, why this is such a great, cool group of investors, why this company is so cool. When I show people the Instagram, they go, "Oh, wow, this is great. I want to send this to my sister, my roommate."
Yeah.
And it's a feel-good brand. You can always count on it. And you also know that everyone will love it when you gift it.
Yeah.
And I also just want to say that I really make my investors work for the brand. I really, I want all of us to succeed together. And all of these investors will go out and ask for Freeland at every bar. And, we're all part of this community that's growing this thing together. I can't do it alone. And I've been super just buoyed by these three women in particular who, it's not only like helping them with the business, but they help me personally and become friends too. It's been really inspiring to see like all of the posts that people make who have invested on Wefunder. And I do want to call out my new friend Kyle, who I think is on this call, whose post was, "I've been a supporter of the brand for many years and as a father of two young girls believe in the same message that Jill's Mima told her, a woman can be any damn thing she wants. I'm excited to be a part of the brand's vision and can't wait to see what Jill does next." And I just want to, really give a shout out to the men who have supported Freelands too. And Kyle has actually become, a huge support to me. He's an operations pro. And so I'm always looking for investors who can also bring expertise to us and help us in this big dream of growing to 10 million and beyond. So hope I didn't embarrass you, Kyle, but thank you. Hey, Kate, Ingrid, there's somebody who has a question about what it means that an investment is debt that turns into ownership later. You've done a lot of convertible note rounds. Do you want to explain a little bit of how those work?
Sure. Yeah. Well, in as close to layman's terms, because I'm a laywoman, it basically there are a couple of types of forms or sort of structures to invest in early stage companies that haven't yet had sort of a priced stock round, if you will. And so a safe note is the thing you'll hear about, which is secured against future equity. That's not what we're using here. But the other type of investment we do is a convertible note. And it's a little complicated to get your head around, but essentially you're loaning, it's like a one-way loan to the company with the expectation that in the future that money will convert into stock. So it's not stock right now. It's a note that's it's a loan that is secured against future stock. And the pricing is, I don't remember what the terms, if there's there's probably a valuation cap and or a discount, but it's a very standard way to invest in a company. And it allows Jill to receive capital, but not issue the shares to investors until there's a round in the future or an event like a sale in the future that establishes a price per share. So any of us who've invested so far in the convertible notes expect at some point to be converted into shares. And so none of us own the shares at the moment, but let's imagine in a year or two, there's an event, whether it's an acquisition or another investment, and that investor comes in and says, hey, I think your company's worth X million dollars divided by the number of potential shares. Those shares then get converted, the number of dollars get converted into shares of the company, and then we receive our shares. So,
and there's a 20% discount. So when it converts, let's say that investor's saying, currently where, it's a 22 million valuation. If that person comes in and says this is worth 50 million, and that's what then you get a 20% discount on that. So it makes those shares much more valuable at the conversion point.
Yeah, that discount rate is kind of like the instant upside. If those who, including Ingrid, who've asked, are familiar with the way an employee stock purchase plan works, it's kind of the same thing where you get an incentive for investing early. In our case, it's that 20% discount. So what an investor might pay $1 a share, we would get for 80 cents a share. So you get more shares. I hope that answers the question.
And I'm also happy to have one-on-one meetings with anyone to talk about those kind of questions or
it's super standard. And it's also, just to clarify, it's not the kind of loan that would get paid back in the event of a liquidation. Like Jill has a loan for part of the stills. There's still some loans with banks and other established creditors. Those loans would be repaid. The convertible note is not the kind of loan that would get repaid. It would get converted to stock, and that's when we would get repaid in shares.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
Okay, good.
Anybody else throw out some questions?
You can't be that shy. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Questions, Heather?
All right, I have a silly question. Since you're in the airport, what all is going to happen at the airport? Is there going to be food? Is there going to be I feel like I've got the update a while ago, and what is the come out roll?
For the opening, you mean?
For us.
Yeah, for the open, just day to day. Like what would you be able to do at the airport location?
Not just our spot, but the whole airport.
No, your spot.
At Freeland.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you'll be able to walk up to this gorgeous bar and have a drink. So we're going to do fun flights, like a martini flight with each of the different gins, a gin and tonic flight, an old fashioned flight, a seasonal flight that'll be, similar to our fresh cocktails in the tasting room. Then there'll be obviously a lot of bottle sales and other people's merch too. We're really trying to highlight female brands in Oregon. So giving them a place to be able to sell their stuff here, which is really exciting. It'll just be a lovely place to get a quick, delicious drink, buy some bottles, join the club, and be a part of us forever.
That's about the threshold to get your free cocktail for life when you travel.
Excellent question. So there are a lot of fun perks along the way. Let's see, I could even share them. Where is it? So at $250, free distillery tour and tasting. And then when you get to the extra special $500 level, you get a free cocktail every time you fly through the airport. So, if you're a regular traveler and a good drinker, that's going to pay off really fast. And there are other levels all the way up to, private party for you and a bunch of guests. So sign up. You can get a free year of the She Flies Club at the 5K level. So all kinds of fun perks. But, most importantly is that you get to be a part of a cool brand. And you get to be a part of the growth and hopefully a part of a really big upside someday when we either go through an acquisition or, the future is really we're trying for all options, keeping all options on the table.
Just a reminder, so the range of investment, I saw one question about that, is from 250 up to 50,000, or could it be more?
It can be more. We have our lead investor in this round is 150K. You can please talk to me before if you're thinking about something at that level. So we're really we're at 650K as of now, and really trying to get at least another 100K before we close this in June. So now is the time.
Yeah, and I would add it's worth sharing with people who might like this story, who haven't been able to invest because they are not accredited investors. It's like there aren't a lot of companies that get to this stage and can open that aperture. And then the other question, Jill, I don't know if you completely answered. If you did and I didn't hear it, I'm sorry. But maybe talk about profitability, because you've been hovering. And again, when we were talking about high risk early on, we did not yet have the line of sight because you were busy building and investing in the company. But 7 years later, here you are on that cusp. Maybe talk about profitability and the importance of this step change to the brand.
Yeah, absolutely. We are hovering right now. We haven't closed out April yet, but it may have actually been a profitable month. So we are on that trend, and the airport is really what seals that, brings in that revenue that makes this a profitable company. So budget is 2020. What year is it? 2026 is profitable. So we are right there. So it's this is could be the last fundraising round to really solidify that profitability. I will say, so I'm sure people know that this industry has been in a lot of chaos lately. Coming off of COVID, there are major supply chain issues, and a lot of the industry distributors, the big brands, were struggling as the environment of consumption was changing. And I think it's this huge pivotal moment in the industry. So once upon a time, people were looking for just fast growth. And so that's what a lot of the craft brands did, none of which were profitable, and many are closing right now. So 40% of California distilleries closed last year and tracking to do that again. So while that's super unfortunate, a lot of my friends, it's also going to be a pretty cool opportunity for the ones left standing. There's going to be an awesome growth opportunity as this industry recovers, which it's starting to do. So it's a really exciting time to get a part of it. And to, like I said, we have that ability to create new products and evolve with the direction that the consumer is going pretty quickly. So really excited about that. Did I answer the question?
Yes. And I see there's a question. I think, yes, it is being recorded. Right, Barbara? Yes. And then I just want to call out, and I know you hit it earlier, but we haven't seen the mural in her full glory, but this is one reason why it flashed me back to when we first met, and we saw the tasting, and when we're like, this is genius. The bottle design, the branding, genius. And I say this as a longtime consumer company person. The branding and the design ethos that is built into Freeland is like, it's genius. And so when you showed us a little tidbit, a peek of the mural, I said, this is so amazing. I believe it's going to become like an Instagram shot, like backdrop for the airport. People are going to go from a different, they're flying on some other airline in another wing of the airport, and they're going to come over to Freeland just for the photo op, and they're probably going to buy something while they're there. So I don't know if you have time or if people had a chance to really see the mural, but it's so cool, so beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I'll first talk about the bottle a little bit, because this was, when I was entering the industry, I knew we were in a really crowded space. You go into a liquor store and you see a sea of different gin options. And so I knew we needed to stand out. And I knew the packaging was really important. I knew what was going to be in it would be delicious. We had, the best distiller and, the best ingredients right in our backyard. So I was like, how do we best highlight that in the package? And so it's this teardrop shape, which is like the rain of the Pacific Northwest that makes our farms and forests so verdant. And then a woman on the front holding up a stalk of grain. And I like to think it's Mima, if she could have been anything, not held back by the patriarchy or, any woman really going for her dreams. So, when we were started to design this space, it was really like, how do we bring all of that to life? What our ethos are of the brand, and beauty is a big part of that, as is celebration. So yeah, I'll show you a little bit more. So we worked with this local street artist. He does murals all over the city. So we were trying to go for including a lot of the ingredients and cocktails and elements of celebration as well, like a disco ball. I don't know if y'all can see that. So it's just stunning. And like I said, like this will be like what you see right after you come out of TSA. So really beautiful. Light fixtures are gorgeous. I actually had a friend who is a furniture designer and builder. She just finished building our display tables. So it's really a work that a bunch of artists put into. So it's exciting to celebrate our local artists and see this all come to life. So
yeah. And I think and I see there's one more question about, we'll talk about that in a second, what signs of recovery you're seeing. But one other comment, I think your adjacencies are also pretty strong in the airport. You're next to Portland Gear, which is a great hot brand, very hot brand right now. And I think you're near Stumptown, maybe across from Stumptown, or talk about who else is in your neighborhood.
Yeah. So the Portland Airport does an amazing job of really highlighting the best of Portland, the favorite brands. And so we're an amazing company right here. Portland Gear, Smith Tea, Portland Coffee Roasters. Right across from us is Pendleton, Sizzle Pie, Blue Star Donuts. So we're in really good company here. So yeah, come out and check it out in just the next few weeks.
Yep. And then the question that just came in was, what signs of recovery are you seeing? You mentioned a strong April. Maybe there are some other things you can share.
Yeah. So the industry has been on a downward turn for about 2 years, Allison, and now it's kind of doing this little bounce on the bottom. And there's some signs of growth. Beer is starting to come back. The canned cocktails, kind of pre-mixed cocktails are doing well. Whiskey is still kind of down, but the rest, like we're seeing this like kind of is slow, but it is. I think the bottom happened, and there's only up to go from here. So I think we're in a great place to throw the doors open here and be a part of that recovery. And that's really the industry as a whole. Like we've never had a down year. We have grown every single year since we've been open. So for us, it's not necessarily following the industry, but creating an industry in a way. It's we've got our fan base who have known about us, who have grown with us for 8 years, and now it's getting that message to a bigger audience. And we really have, that experience of when people taste it, they may be like, oh, no, I don't drink gin. And then they taste this and they're like, oh my God, this is really different. And I didn't talk at all about how we make our gins, but it's unlike anyone in the world because we use this vacuum still we can use fresh ingredients. So with our forest gin, we're going out and harvesting chanterelle mushrooms and salal berries and nettles and Douglas fir tips and doing these on a cold distillation that allows us to preserve that freshness that heat distillation would kill. So we also use heat distillation for our dried botanicals, and we're one of only 2 distilleries in the world that we know of that combine those 2 distillation methods to make our gins. So it's almost like the gin that people didn't know they loved. So as soon as they taste it, as soon as people have that experience with the brand, they really stay with us. And I see that as kind of, external of what has happened in the industry. So I really think, like I said, we're going to be well poised with the industry comeback that we're just starting to see.
Yeah, I would say that the fact that it's special is good. Oh, I fixed my echo. Sorry about that earlier. I would say the fact that the bottles are so pretty and so special that if people are drinking less, they actually do appreciate the cool things, the more bespoke, the custom fancy one. That's what I found when I've been bringing a cocktail to the dinner party, to the barbecue. People are more excited to see that than a big Costco run of just a bunch of like volume of liquor.
Right. Well, yeah. And speaking of that, I'm sorry if I interrupted. I'm very excited about the PDX Airport Bourbon.
Oh, yes. So I will say, for you, all of you investors, we're going to have a party at the main tasting room and distillery. We haven't set the date yet. It'll probably be mid-June. Just get a cocktail party for everyone to celebrate. There will be just fun perks and get to meet Hell Bitch and go on a tour. But that will also be the only chance you can buy this PDX bourbon that we're coming out with. It will only be for sale here. We'll also have some at that party. So it's a super special bourbon that we finished in port barrels. We haven't finished anything in port before, and it's just this glowing like red color that I've never seen on a whiskey before. And of course, it's got the airport carpet on the label. So we're really excited for that. We'll be here in a few weeks.
I don't know if it's showing my screen, but
there it is.
So here we go.
Yeah, go big. I love it. So that's just yet another example of like why we love Jill and the Freeland story as much as we do, because these distinctive brand moments keep happening, whether it's the mural in the tasting room at the airport, whether it's something as subtle but so cool as like that airport bourbon. The She Flies program that you've been doing since the beginning, which is about highlighting, powerful women in the community and the efforts and the causes that they're associated with. Like there's so much great activation around this brand that I just can't wait to see what the airport unlocks. It's gonna be awesome. So I don't know if there are any other questions, mechanics of things, or closing remarks, Jill, that you have. Questions from anyone else? It's been a little quiet out there.
I love this question. Is there a secret handshake to get the free investor drink? There will be a secret handshake. We're going to make like little coins that we'll give out at this party, and we can mail out too, but there will also be a list of names that we just keep with us. So you can just give your name, but really just try like winking at the bartender and see if they know what you mean.
There'll be a mechanism for us to be known, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions from folks? Some folks who haven't asked or raised their hands or any volunteered. I don't know. Before we wrap up, Betty, Shauna, Wendy, anybody? Aun, Mohammed, John, Esther, anyone else? Raymond? That's a comment. Makes the world a better place.
So do you, Wendy.
We think so too.
I will just end by saying Kate and I did not plan on wearing the same t-shirts today.
Twins. Twins.
I'm just deeply honored. I've already drugged Jessica into doing one of these webinars. So it's just really I've been so well supported, and I really, it means the world to me to have all of you on board with this.
Okay, here's a late breaking question, Jill. Any word Whole Foods in Illinois from John?
John, I need your help to make this happen. This is, when I put my investors to work, Illinois has been tough to get the right distributor. There aren't a lot of great ones there. So if you want to ask your local Whole Foods if they have a distributor they would recommend, that would be awesome.
Okay, good one.
Cool.
Here's another one. I love this. See, they're coming in. They're coming in hot now. What's the next step from Betty? Next step to become an investor. And then the next one is, what about international distribution? So one at a time, Jill. Next step.
Yeah, so you can see here, this is the Wefunder page, just wefunder.com/Freeland Spirits. Barbara, can you put this in the chat? And all you do is click on the lovely little invest button, and you'll load your information, and then you will get a couple of follow-up confirmation emails after that. So watch for Wefunder emails to close it out. Yes, and John.
Sorry.
I just wanted to say about Benny's. Benny's is like the only game in town in Chicago, and so they know us, they want us. We just need that distributor because we can't. I don't know how well people know booze, but we can't go and sell direct anywhere. We have to go through distributors in each state. So if we get the distribution, we can have the Whole Foods and the Benny's ready to go. International distribution, I see that one. That's going to be, I've been so focused on this airport. I'm really excited to get this open and get back to a sales focus for me and get back into distribution. So this is an area I am most excited about. And there's the local WUSADA. It's a trade support network in Oregon that sponsors trips and connects you with different distributors. So I look forward to start going on some of those trade missions and finding us some international distributors. I'm more than giddy to get our cherry blossom liqueur into Japan. So that's a next call out to anybody who can connect me with a Japan distributor because that just belongs there. So yes, stay tuned.
Okay. Any other, I think we've covered a lot. Seems like folks have asked the questions they have. Anything else before we wrap it up? Besides to remind everybody, share this with your friends. Yeah, we're open for business and we could use some more support and some more fans. So please spread the word.
We may not offer this again. So this is really like, the last 6 weeks to get on board and get involved because there may not be another round or another chance. So hop on while you can and help us launch this thing. And please follow up with any questions. There's my email address.
Thank you, Jill. Thanks, Kate.
Good job, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
We'll send out info soon on the big party.
Happy to see the airport done.
Yes.
Come fly with us. Come fly with us.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, great to see everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Okay, bye.